Welcome to Distrust and Disparities, Dismantling Black Health Disparities podcast. We examine health disparities that disproportionately affect Black women and Black families. In addition, we amplify organizations and individuals working to dismantle racist health practices and systems to improve health outcomes for marginalized communities. I'm your host, Jasmine Moore, a registered nurse, and I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Camille White.
In this episode, we highlight some listener reviews, discuss making it to the end of this year, and the importance of rest, hydration, checkups, and therapy.
Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Distrust and Disparities. This is the last episode of 2023, and we are proud to say we have made it here. We've made it, yes. And Camille, she showed me this clip from Instagram, and it basically said, if all you did was survive this year, that is enough. Like, a lot has happened this year, personally and just globally. Just so many things are going on. So if you made it this far, whenever you're listening to this episode, just celebrate yourself, congratulate yourself for just surviving this year, because it's just been a mentally trying year.
Yes, I 1,000% agree with that. And it's just been, a struggle. It hasn't been a constant struggle, but the majority of it has been a lot. And yeah, if you are feeling like you're in the same position in some way, shape, or form, like, you made it. We made it. And hopefully there can be, improvement, change, excitement for the future. But, acknowledging that you made it and you survived, where I think, as we discussed, like, on our own separately, like, we're in our survival mode a lot. And as frustrating as that is, it's just like, but we're still here.
Yeah,
We're still here and we're still pushing forward. And you know what? That's all that we can ask of ourselves right now. And that's all that we can do. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. And just pushing through, so much. Probably on social media, we see people doing stuff, doing a lot of things, but, look at your own life. You're juggling so many things already. So, you can't compare yourself to others. Just getting up, going to work every day, getting up, doing the things that you need to do, taking care of yourself, just pushing past, like, so many things are, happening and going on. And, you want to get out of survival mode. When you think things are looking up, something else happens, but, you just keep chugging along and pushing through. But, we're here. We're here. So in that sense, like, just going into a new year and just reflecting back on 2023, like we said, a lot has happened. But we do want to start this episode with just gratitude. We're grateful for all our listeners. Like, this podcast was, birthed out of an idea. Like, I told Camille, like, oh, we should start a podcast. She was like, okay, let's do it. How do we do this? And just figuring it out. Like, we literally just went from like 10 listeners to how many listeners to like thousands of listeners. Like, It's crazy the growth that we've seen. And, I never thought we would be here. Like, you go from, oh, let's get it up to from 10 to 20 to, going to like thousands of listeners. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. It's like so exciting that you guys tune in twice a month to hear what we say. And we really appreciate it. We put a lot of hard work and love and energy into this podcast. So we really, really appreciate it. And we want to take the time to highlight some of the reviews that we have gotten and just thank you guys for drop in those reviews and also the text messages, the emails that you send us. We really appreciate it.
Have you checked out our website? There you can find all of our episodes and show notes. You can even listen directly on the site and catch up on any previous episode you may have missed. You can read our bios and see what we're up to. Also, we made it even easier to contact us. Just fill out the form on our homepage and click submit. We invite you to recommend guests and topics we should feature. So what are you waiting for? Go check us out at distrustanddisparities.com. So here is one of our reviews titled Must Listen. This podcast is amazing. Jasmine and Camille do a really great job with breaking down relevant and important health topics and making it digestible for everyday people. I've learned so much just from listening to the episodes. Go listen now.
Oh,
It's so sweet. And that's literally, I feel like that was the whole point of your idea of creating the podcast, making these topics that can seem overwhelming and confusing, especially given you're a nurse and you already have this background in healthcare and you wanted to make it digestible for the everyday person, including myself, where it's just I don't have that experience and background and knowledge that you do. So being able to take something and go here, this is what we're talking about. This is why it's important. This is how it affects our community, and just making it accessible to people is so important.
Yeah. I'm glad that they pointed that out, because shifting through journals written for medical professionals, even articles from the Times, they're not written in chronological order. So just putting all that information in so that you guys can understand, that you can enjoy it, so that you understand the call to action, this is what we need to do. And this is someone that is working to fix it. So, here are some resources. Here's where I can go. This is what needs to be done. So I really appreciate that comment.
Here's another wonderful review written by a listener titled Knowledgeable Women. Not only do I appreciate your perspective as nurses and healthcare professionals, but to hear your reaction as Black women is very enlightening. Please keep doing what you're doing. If we don't know, we can't improve. If we don't acknowledge the problem, we can't fix it.
Pointing out, that our reactions just as Black women, the size and all that. And we probably cut out a lot of the size and oh my God. It's all those. So we appreciate you for rocking with us. And, this is our real true reaction to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this information, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed. So we're doing our part and putting it out there. And, we appreciate that you guys recognize this information, and we want you to share it with as many people as possible.
And another review we want to highlight is titled Very Important Podcast. Distrust and Disparities is a podcast well worthy of attention and praise for its straightforward approach to the disparities and outright medical abuses that have plagued Black people throughout the history of the United States. As caring healthcare professionals and brilliant and insightful 21st century Black women, Miss Moore and Miss White tell it like it is and pull no punches. Just what we need in these times.
No. I don't know why I keep saying all, but it's oh my gosh.
It feels nice when people acknowledge what you're putting out and acknowledging it in a way that that's what you wanted them to see and hear and feel from it. It's we're doing what we set out to do. And it feels great that people see that, they feel that, and then they're able to put it in a review for us. It means a lot. We read our reviews, and it's a small gesture, but it makes a big difference too. And showing your support of the podcast, showing your support for us, and helping us know that okay, this is our listeners get it and they appreciate what we're doing and they want to hear more.
every like, every repost, every share. When you guys send us emails and messages about the topics, like it just makes my heart feel so warm. It's just like, just gives me more energy. Like I said, we both have, full-time jobs and families and pets and things going on that we are taking care of, but to also work on this podcast and put out quality information that we have taken the time to research and put it together so that you guys understand. It just gives us like the energy that we need, because like we said in the beginning, a lot is going on. And sometimes I just feel myself like, sometimes I feel like, oh, this is not going to make a difference. Nothing is going to change. But talking to guests and seeing what they're doing, it really motivates me. Seeing reviews like, oh, we are making a difference. People, when they say, oh, I learned this, just learned about like sickle cell and just like what it actually does to the body, this will really impact how they move throughout the world. So we really appreciate every review, every like, every repost, sending us guest recommendations, sending us stories and topics that we should discuss. We really, really appreciate it. And we just wanted to take the time as we're closing out this year just to thank you guys, thank all of our listeners, everyone, all of our followers. We really, really appreciate you guys. And I'll read this quote from Oprah. It says, "Be thankful for what you have and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never, ever have enough." And I just wanted to, end this year in gratitude and also just start the year in gratitude. And, we just got to focus on the things that we can control, because like we said, so much is going on and we want you guys to just check in mentally, do some reflections on this year, and, just congratulate yourself on surviving, on making it. And we just want to do some reminders, with this upcoming new year. Don't forget to rest. Rest. I just took this class which talked about like the benefits of sleep and just how important it is to get quality sleep. Like, so there's so many things that we want to do, but it's really important that we are getting enough rest, quality rest, turning off the TV, putting off our phones, having that time to kind of let our brains recharge, because we are very overstimulated in this world. Very, very overstimulated. So, checking in, check how's your sleep pattern. Are you getting enough sleep? Do you feel restful in the morning and things like that? So just working on like your routine for sleep at night. I know I personally need to do that. Working on like how I unwind and, decompress at the end of the day and just really take some time. Just, sometimes I just need like silence. I know we talk on like a podcast. I listen to like podcasts, but sometimes I'm just like, I just need silence or just like calming music to just kind of like unwind and just kind of decompress with everything that's coming at us. We cover like a lot of heavy topics and, we're seeing different things. So, I just want to point out, just rest. Get some rest.
It's so important because like you need that rest to rejuvenate, restore, and that way you can go and tackle, whatever it is that you have in front of you, but you need to be able to rest, because if you're raggedy, it's you're not going to really be helping others if that's what you're doing, and you're definitely not helping yourself. You're definitely not helping yourself at all. You're going to run yourself ragged and you'll burn out, and we don't want that. And that's not how we should live, because that's no fun. That life shouldn't be exhausting to the point of like, you're just tired all the time. So yes, rest is so important.
And we get so many messages that are like, go, 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 rise and grind, just go, go, go. But it's like, No, like the foundation of everything that we are trying to do, we need to be well rested. It will really make a difference. Prioritizing getting adequate sleep at night will really help to improve everything from your health. If you're trying to like lose weight or just, trying to make healthier choices, when you have like a full night's rest, it's a little bit easier to, make those choices, regulate your emotions and things like that. So rest is the foundation. I think we even did like a whole episode where we read the book Rest is Resistance. There's like a whole movement that is telling us to rest. So tap into that. And also making sure we're drinking enough water. Drink, like, this stuff is so common, but are we drinking enough water?
I know I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, some days are better than others, but you really have to tell yourself, drink more water, drink more water. So I'm just like, before I grab my coffee or a tea, it's like, let me drink some water first. Let me drink some water. Like, you have to actively do it.
Yeah.
Like drinking enough water, staying hydrated.
Making sure that it is like a key part throughout your day that you are going and like you fill up your cup, you fill up your water bottle, whatever it is that you're using, and then you go fill it up again after you finished it because it is so important. And so many of us probably are like slightly dehydrated that, that again affects so many things. Be it like our physical bodies, our mental state, like it is so important. And like, I know I'm guilty of not drinking enough water. And yeah, like you do too. It's just like, okay, I just had tea. If I'm going to have another cup, you got to drink a whole bottle of water first and then go get that second cup.
Yes.
Don't just keep back to back to back with the tea or the coffee, the water.
Yes. And yeah, I'm a big coffee person. I'm like, I need my coffee. But I'm like, I think I need water. Like, I was just telling myself, like, let me drink some more water. And I'm just like noticing a difference. Like, I'm drinking more water, but a little less coffee. And it is giving me some more energy. Like you said, I'm probably dehydrated. I'm reaching for like snacks and stuff. Dehydrated and sleepy, that combination, I'm just like grabbing the coffee. It gets me amped up. Then I crash. It's like, I need to sleep and I also need to drink some more water. So it's like those two things go hand in hand. I know this sounds like basic, but are we doing those things? And if we look back, we probably aren't, or we're not drinking enough. So
I think a lot of people would admit that if they truly evaluated what they were consuming throughout the day, it'd be like, it's not enough water. It's never enough water.
Yes. And then the next thing, we want to check in just with your health check-ins. We talk about a lot of disparities and things like that, but we need to make sure that we're getting our annual physical. So depending on your age, it could be once a year. It could be twice or 3 times a year. And if you have any chronic conditions, making sure that you're following up with whatever specialist that you need. But your annual physicals, medical, vision appointments, getting those checked in. Also, it's the end of the year where people are either re-signing up for like insurance and different things. And insurance is a whole can of worms, and just shifting through like policies and what you need to select is very difficult. But please sign up, select the best plan for yourself as an individual or for your family, the most affordable plan. But make sure you're taking advantage of like the preventative care, going to get those physicals, getting those routine checkups so that you have a baseline of what your health is. And if you need like any follow-up and appointments like that. And, I'm telling y'all, I need to do the same thing. I'm making appointments and signing up for things. So, I just want to put it out there for everybody else. Check. Make sure you hit like your GYN appointment, check your vision, all those things, dental appointments, like get those done. And even just like signing up for insurance, it's crazy in this country, like how insurance is like tied to like your occupation or things like that. A lot of people are working part-time, or a lot of people don't understand like the whole process of signing up for, the healthcare plans and stuff like that. It's so confusing, but I want you guys to, prioritize taking the time to really sit down and compare those plans. I work multiple jobs, but it's like multiple part-time jobs. So I still have to navigate those healthcare portals and things like that. And it's confusing for myself. It really takes time to concentrate and it can get very overwhelming at times. But, please look at when those due dates are coming up and, just take time to like navigate those portals because it can be frustrating. Don't wait till the day before. Don't wait till the week before. Give yourself some time to look at it, see what documents you need, get frustrated a little bit, come back, see who you have to call. Somebody was telling me, depending on your state, if they have a phone number, call to get assistance. There are people there that are supposed to help you. Ask around, ask people. That's what I do. I ask somebody like, even when it comes to like doctors, like, do you have a good doctor? Do you have a good dentist that you go to? Ask people. Somebody can, kind of connect you to who you need to get to, but don't neglect those things.
Yeah, it can be easy to neglect, or I understand completely the frustrations that come with navigating those websites and systems and portals. Like, it's confusing. And then, you sometimes they just don't function properly, or it's overwhelming. So take advantage of if there is a phone number to call to get assistance. Ask others for help when you need it, find those resources. And procrastination on this specific thing, especially, is not the best. You got to give yourself some time because you will get frustrated. I've been there. You will get frustrated and you will need to be like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to just go sit and stare at the wall. I don't know. However you sort of bring your levels down back to like a calm state and then go back at it to attack it again to get to where you need to be to sign up and get all your paperwork and stuff. Because it's frustrating, which again, it's like you said, it's a whole can of worms, and it is so irksome that it's all tied to employment, and we should just have it. And you should just be able to go when you need to go on, your annual basis, whenever you're not feeling well, just go. But this is unfortunately the system that we exist in, and navigating through it can be a lot, but you got to give yourself some time and take advantage of the resources available to you.
Yes. I agree. And I also wanted to plug in therapy, getting mental health therapy. It's important. It's needed. I know I'm just speaking just like from like my parents and stuff like that. I tell them like I'm in therapy. I see a therapist every month and they're like, oh, what's wrong? What's going on? But it's like, no, just being able to talk to somebody whose sole focus is your mental health, what's going on with you. And, they don't bring in like their own stuff. It's really good. And, they also challenge you to question why you do certain things, why you respond certain things. And that just uncovers, things that you didn't see was a problem. But, it's like, okay, this is not a normal response. This may be like a trauma response. And just if you're working, just to better yourself, just having somebody to assist you, just to help guide you, and just, being able to talk to somebody is definitely needed. So I would definitely look into that in 2023. You may say, oh, I'm fine. But there's a lot of things going on around you. Just being able to talk and to check in. And they say the best time is, when you're doing fine, so that you can develop like a toolkit so that you can address, things that may come up, versus being in full crisis mode may be a little bit harder. So I just encourage everybody to think about going to therapy and visiting that. So I'm a proponent. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
it can't hurt.
No,
it can't.
it literally can't. It can only really help in therapy. Again, it's all tied into, does your insurance cover it? How much does it cost? And a lot of times I think for most people, it's seen as sort of like this extra thing that if you have the capacity in terms of funds or coverage by your insurance to go, you'll go. But if you can, view it just as important as a dental checkup. View it just as important as your annual physical. It is just as important as those things. Your mental health is so important, because neglecting that and not acknowledging when you are, say, struggling, can sometimes then manifest itself in physical ways in your body. And you're sort of going like, well, what's going on? And it's just like stress. Stress will do a number on you. Stress will have you just falling apart. So, it highly encourage it and look into, again, like, is that something that you could maybe afford in terms of if it's like a copay? Does your insurance cover it? Look at, if you found a great therapist, but like talk to them about like, what is their payment plan? Look at all the ways in which you can actively make it a part of your every day, every month, every year health routine, because it's so important.
Yeah. And like you said, there's so many options. And, some therapists, they offer like sliding scale depending on like your income. So it's another thing to look up. I just wanted to mention it. I listened to like podcasts for years, and on podcasts, they always like mention like, oh, I'm in therapy, I'm doing this. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And they kept saying, and then one day, especially like the pandemic, I was like, let me look into this. So, I just want to put that out there. Maybe it'll, ping somebody, encourage somebody to, go see a therapist or something like that. I just want to throw that out there because that's how it happened for me. I was listening to a podcast, or also had another friend was in therapy. I was like, oh, okay. That's nice. She helped you do that. Okay. And just like taking it in. And I was like, girl, who's your therapist? Is she opening, getting recommendations? I ask around like, oh, do you see this? So, and then if people ask me, I'm like, oh, I recommend this. This is a site that you can go to, like Therapy for Black Girls, but always checking in with if you have friends that go to therapy, who they recommend. You may not click with who the first person, but, shop around and figure out somebody that you feel comfortable talking with. So just want to put that out there. And another free thing that you could do, free but hard, unplug from social media. Unplug from social media. That can definitely be a big help for your mental health. Unplugging from social media. Like,
yes.
It will make a big difference. Like just doing like a social media detox. Like we are getting constantly overloaded with information and just the things. Like just put your phone down. Put your phone down.
Social media has just become this monster of everything and anything that's happening. And a good chunk of it, I would say, is important stuff. Because like now, like social media is how people get their news. Yeah. It's how people stay informed on what is happening around them locally, in their countries, globally. It keeps you informed. But then on the flip side, then you're inundated with like nonsense of sort of like entertainment news. And even though like that's called news. And so like you're hearing about, people's relationships and nonsense that has nothing to do with you. Yes. Nothing at all. And like you can so easily get wrapped up in like someone else's life that literally you have no connection to. This in no way affects you. But yet you are going down the rabbit hole of videos about some random drama of some random whoever. And then there's like the other flip side, which like I enjoy, that can be a little bit nice, of like just random pet videos. Give me a nice little funny, because that helps me go like, okay. I had that little dose. I'm gonna click out now because let's end it on a high because everything else is trash. But yes, unplugging from that is so important because it's just all this coming at you all at once. And it's overwhelming, and people lose hours to social media.
Yes.
Hours of their day, hours of their week are just like gone. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, well, what did you do? It was just like scrolled. You just scrolled.
Yeah. And I'm guilty. We're all guilty of it. But just taking stock of how much time you spend on your phone scrolling through social media, take edit of the pages that you follow. If some of these pages are like triggering certain things, or you're just noticing that you're just spending so much time, you're comparing yourself to other people and this and that, or it's encouraging you to buy different things and stuff like that, just unplug, unfollow, just set boundaries and parameters. Like you said, so much time is just spent, on our phone. We could be spending this time with our family, loved ones. We could be sleeping, things like that. So, just take stock. But we really do. We spend a lot of time on our phones, and there is some good stuff, but there's a whole lot of bad and unnecessary stuff. So just looking into that and, just taking like a little break and see how that works for you. And is there anything else that we want to talk about? That's about it. That's all I got for this episode.
If you are enjoying this episode, you should consider buying us a coffee. Yes, a coffee. That small gesture will help us continue to create quality episodes and content. Click the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes or check out our website at distrustanddisparities.com. Like we said at the top, we have made it.
Yes.
That is enough.
Yes.
And we will continue to make it, especially by checking in like with each other, with our loved ones, making sure we're resting, staying hydrated, making sure that we're paying attention to our physical and mental well-being, and, finding joy in even the smallest moments. I guess that's the only thing else I can think of to include, because it's been some dark, raggedy days and times, and that is also a way to, keep going and pushing forward with, trying to create positive change, is also being able to enjoy those small, sometimes, unfortunately, they are small, but those small little nuggets of joy and happiness, and holding on to them and appreciating them, because for some people and for a lot of people, they are few and far between. And just making sure that when those moments come, you thoroughly enjoy them and you thoroughly appreciate them, because we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to enjoy our lives, and hoping that things will improve.
Exactly. And I'm guilty of this. It's like when good things pass, it's like, oh, okay, it's just kind of like a blimp. But when something like bad or negative occurs, I will ruminate on that. I will replay it forwards, backwards.
Yeah.
It'll just be in my mind. But, good things happen, just like little things, people just being excited to learn different things, excited that you're showing up to support them. And it's just like, oh, okay, this is nice. But bad things, they just, I will focus. I'll be like, you said this wrong. You said this. But really just kind of flipping it and just focusing on, but this went right. This went good. Little things. The train was not crowded. The train came on time. Just focusing on those positive things, just, allowing the good things to take up more space in our mind. And, it takes effort, And that's why we started this episode thanking you guys and, focusing on those reviews and those likes, because, that really makes a difference, just grounding ourselves and, this is going right. These are the good things. So good stuff is happening. So just taking the time to really point those out and think about, what's going good. Because oftentimes it's so easy to list. I could make a whole list, in 5 seconds, of everything that's going wrong. But it really takes effort. Be like, oh, this is going good. This is going good. To really look down and be thankful for, this. I have this. So I really want you guys to just, check in, what is going right? What are you grateful for? It could be just as simple as, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here. So just really, focusing on those gratitudes and, those simple things. It can really, make a difference on our outlook. And we have to constantly remind ourselves to do it constantly. So we are going to take a little bit of a break so that we can prepare our content for next year, so we can have like just a little bit of mental downtime. We're going to have a few rewind episodes of our favorite topics that we have covered so far. And then February, Black History Month, we coming back with new content. But follow us on social media for all updates and all the new things that we have coming. Please send us your emails and your feedback.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Do you have recommendations for topics we should discuss about health disparities or injustices? Guests we should interview doing amazing health justice work? Or organizations we should highlight creating positive change for marginalized communities? Please visit us at distrustanddisparities.com or email us at distrustanddisparities@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yep. I guess we'll be seeing y'all in 2024.